Arizzona's Desert Diaries. Hello, Arizona calling, and I'll be short and sweet with you this week as I've been off the scale busy with work and getting ready for the holidays. Yep, it's Thanksgiving next week, and that sweet potato marshmallow pie is not going to make itself. Haven't done it yet. I did get a chance in the madness of my working week to go for a really long trek out into the desert with a couple of friends. Brian, originally from Manchester, and Barry, a native New Yorker who was born and raised in Brooklyn before making his home here in the desert several years ago. And of course, I took the dog, who pulled me along for about 2.5 hours as we walked around an area called Brown's Ranch. It is just a beautiful walk through the desert on a huge preserve called the McDowell Sonoran Preserve. It's packed at the start with loads of people who just fancy a stroll, to serious hikers and mountain bikers too. And then the further you head out into the twisty network of trails, the fewer people are around until you're all alone in the desert, and it is just glorious. I still can't quite get used to people talking about how great it is now the weather has improved as we head into November. I'm used to this time of year being dark and damp and freezing, but I must say, trolling around in shorts in balmy sunshine at the weekend was just fabulous, and I really do not take this for granted. It's still around 30 degrees for the next few days, and I am loving every minute. We walked about 5 miles until I had to head home for more work, broken up only by the distraction of notifications from Nextdoor. Now, I've talked about Nextdoor before. It's the uber local social network that you can sign up to, where your neighbours talk about everything and anything, really. Highlights this week was a woman who was asking if any neighbours had any experience with the undead. I promise you I am not making this up. She said she had felt 2 distinct spirits in her house and she wanted someone to go and talk with them. I tell you, if I had had even 10 minutes free time this week, I would have been round there doing my very best Derek Acora impersonation. How long have you felt these spirits? Asked another neighbour. About 3 years, she replied, but it's only recently they've started to get angry. I've got so many questions. My local Nextdoor is also the place for questions like, what's this strange worm thing I just found in my garden? A query accompanied by a photo of an absolutely hideous, enormous-looking green thing, which turned out to be a tomato hornworm. Now, do Google it if you're not eating your lunch. And perhaps my favourite post of the week was, found a pig. It's a blooming enormous pig, a massive pig. Do go and look on my Facebook page, facebook.com/seeyouinthedesert. You will see that lovely pig in all her glory. Who loses a massive pig? There was much excitement for a few hours until Olivia came forward and claimed her piggy, and swine and human were reunited. Only in the desert. The final animal excitement of the week came when Dave was out for his fortnightly lads curry night. I know, you can take the man out of Manchester, eh? When, during the meal, his friend Chris got a phone call just as he was spooning a booner onto his plate. Apparently, you could hear the screams from the phone round the whole restaurant, and Chris leapt up and ran outside. He came back a few moments later and relayed the drama. His wife and 2 young daughters had been watching TV in the sitting room when bedtime arrived, and as one of them went to head upstairs, they noticed something behind the sofa. Just about a foot from where they'd been sitting all night long. The visitor? A black and yellow banded metre-long king snake, clearly also a fan of Bake Off, quite happily chilling out. The screams had been them fleeing the house, wearing only their pyjamas and refusing to go back inside until animal control had arrived, which wouldn't be until the morning. Neighbours out? They were in a hotel for the night. I've got a snake grabber in the garage, piped up Dave. He actually does have a snake grabber in our garage. Do you want to borrow it? Chris declined, much to Dave's disappointment, as he said he quite fancied a late night snake capture, which I probably didn't recommend after the 2 pints he'd had. It's not quite the same as finding a spider in your bath, is it? I'll see you in the desert.